I'm currently here in Avenal, and I'd just like to say a few things about Mr. Craighead, and also to thank him for all the service that he gave to the community. I met Mr. Craighead in 2008 when I was first elected to the city council. That was my first experience. And most of the things that he did, he did for the benefit of the community, to see it move forward. And I am grateful for his service. And knowing that he served his country also through the armed forces, I am grateful for that as well. He sacrificed a lot to give to the city, and what can I say? I'm thankful for that. Through his experience, I have learned also to serve the community. And that's, one of the reasons that I'm where I'm at, just to serve and help the community move forward. So I thank the family, I thank Mr. Craighead for all his services. Thank you.
All the way against the windows. And then all the kids came in. 2 classes of kids came into that room. And I was at one end, Sid was at the other end, and we looked at each other and said, let's go. So both of us put on our teacher voices, and we just really got into those lessons. And the next day, they hired somebody to come and build a wall. And we got our wall in that classroom. But Sid and I kind of ran parallel. We were always there for each other. When Shirley Hauser got me up there to take her place, she told Sid to take care of me. And back in those days, I was a chronic asthmatic, and Sid smoked. So she threatened him when we had to go to conferences that he would never smoke around me. And he was really good. He didn't. Eventually, he moved up on my block. And when shortly after Mary moved to town, they bought the house and moved up there. So then we had been neighbors ever since. And we just kind of took care of each other when things happened. Thank you, Tony.
Put it over there, over here.
It doesn't make any difference. Another one of our neighbors. We have a good block. Melissa is too. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Richard Valle, and for the past 11 years, Avenal is one of the communities that I represent at the Kings County Board of Supervisors. And this past Tuesday morning at our weekly county board meeting, we started off our meeting with a moment of silence for Mr. Sid Craighead. That recognition was well deserved towards the councilman because not only did he represent the city of Avenal here locally, he represented this community on a county-wide basis. And as you know, those county meetings, when you're on a city council, you're also appointed to multiple boards and commissions, and those meetings usually take place in the city of Hanford, and those meetings take place at night. And so I'm quite sure that Councilman Sid Craighead, many times after a long day of work, when he was ready to rest, he also had to go on ahead and get in the vehicle, drive the city of Hanford to represent this community of Avenal. It was very important to him to be at the table because as the saying goes, if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. And the city of Avenal was never going to be on the menu on Councilman Sid Craighead's watch. Also, as a veteran, I want to thank Mr. Craighead for his service to our nation as well. Being in the military and being on an elected official when we think we're out doing a good job representing the community and being out and about. Sometimes to our families, the jobs that we do can appear quite selfish, and it is, because it's, I'm sure Mr. Craighead, like many of us that serve, we miss a lot of open houses, parent-teacher conferences, birthday parties, family events, because we're out doing the job that we're supposed to do. And so for anyone that approaches me about running for elected office, I always tell them it's a very selfish business to be in, but it's also one that pays off many blessings. So I said all that to end by saying thank you to the family of Mr. Craighead for your service as well, because he wouldn't have been able to do that without your support and your love. So on behalf of Kings County, thanks, sir, for a job well done.
Well, I'm not going to go up there, but I taught with Sid Craighead for many, many years at Avenal High School. So, and we usually wound up arguing with each other because we shared a classroom. Not the way Glenda and Sid did, but we actually were in the same classroom and we had the same students. But Sid would teach the printing part of the class, and I taught the Macintosh software part of the class where the kids learned to use Photoshop, Illustrator, and Publisher. But we used to really get into it sometimes because he would get tired and so would I, and the kids would just aggravate us to no end. But before we moved out to the shop, and I was teaching in the main building, and so was Sid. Sid had a habit, and so did I, of running off somewhere, leaving his class unattended. But one time, and the teachers had a reputation of playing jokes on each other. And one time, the teachers went into his classroom, some teachers, no names, went in there and they glued everything down on his desk while he was gone, including the phone. So when he came back, the whole top of his desk was not going to go anywhere at all. And all I heard from across the hall where my classroom was, "God dang it, what's going on here?" Because he had picked up the phone and someone had called him and they picked up the phone and the whole thing came up. But that's my one story. There are tons of funny Sid Craighead stories. He was a joy to work with, and he was kind. He could not tolerate people being unkind to other people. That was his outstanding characteristic and what I remember most about him. Thank you.
Well, I'll go. I have the teacher voice too. It's genetic. I was part of his first class of House-Shiers. He was Nikki Hauser back then. He joined my mom, Shirley Hauser, in teaching business. But what I remember him best for is the ROP classes that Sheila and I had. His legacy is going to forever live on in my life. He gave me my job.
Nikki, you got to tell them what kind of class it was. You can't stop there.
I built houses. I built houses my junior year of high school with Sheila. The first house we remodeled was on Merced Street. When I moved here with my mother, when she got divorced, we moved into a house that was condemned when we moved out. And that was the first house Sheila and I remodeled as kids. And then we have pictures. My mom gets them out every once in a while to remind me of what my life was. Fresno B came down to take pictures of Sheila and I on a roof at 105. In shorts, hot pink fingernails,
Because we were cool.
We
I'm
were-
just saying we were cool.
We were cool. We were re-roofing a house.
But we had to look pretty. Just
Then we
saying.
had to look pretty. We were stylish. But those experiences he gave me shaped my entire life. I've been teaching 23 years at Porterville High. I run alternative energy. I teach 2 classes of all freshman boys. I run NASCAR street stocks, built dragsters, put solar on houses, and I get to tell the stories of my experiences with him. I'll never forget my mom, coming in to find him going, "Craighead!" And it's those times that I know now as a teacher that he was giving us opportunities. And they were opportunities that might have been a little shaky or risky, but I can frame a house, and I can do plumbing like nobody's business. And, I spend my days now putting that in kids. I have a little girl, we're praying for Berkeley tonight that she gets in. And it's because of the interview skills and the things he gave me, along with my mom and Glenda, that I'm passing on to so many generations. I changed out the pictures in my shower last night. And it's because Mr. Craighead treated me like a daughter. For a man as a teacher, he pushed us like his own child. And a girl in the 80s, you were either treated like a girl or you were treated like a daughter. And I really feel like he treated us like a daughter. He respected us and he pushed us to try those things. And he allowed us to do things that, God, heaven forbid, that we were on a house.
You really let us
in
do
shorts.
You let us do
No hard hat, no safety. But he took us to Hanford to finish the Hanford Project house at the fairgrounds that Hanford High couldn't finish. He did some amazing things for us that gave us confidence and skills that I've used my entire life and I still use every day. And I still think back that was Sid Craighead, the teacher that put that in my life. And that's an amazing blessing. Thank you.
I have not been a teacher at Avenal High School. I was a teacher at Hanford High School, but I wish that my career could have been and included Avenal High because of what I think about it. I'm Dick Hoffmaster. I serve on the grand jury. I have a short story about Craig's giving. In grand jury, we decided that we needed to do some recruiting of new members. And so somebody had a popcorn machine that we used, and so we'd go out with a popcorn machine, give away popcorn, and hopefully talk people into applying for the grand jury. That person left the grand jury, so we went out without any enticement to come to our booth. And lo and behold, Sid bought a popcorn machine and all of the supplies. I asked him how much he spent for it, and he wouldn't tell me. But he told others and spent almost $1,000 for this. So we have a popcorn machine that we can go out and recruit with. And we also go to events. I'm sorry to say, because Sid was not there, we missed the Pistachio Festival this year here. But Melissa's going to help us get it so that the grand jury next year will be here with the popcorn machine that Craig donated, and hopefully get some more recruits for the grand jury from Avenal. Thank you.
Are you jumping up now? No, go up there. So I'm Sheila Verdugo, and I work with the city, and Craighead, of course, as Nikki said, has been a part of our lives for over 30 years. So I've known him for many, many years. Gosh, I think that makes me feel super old. But I'm not, I'm just saying. Let's get that straight. And Nikki's right, just some of the things that he let us just be a part of as young women, because sometimes, especially like a young lady like myself, I grew up without a dad, and so to have a man in your life that kind of supports you and that believes in you. You know, you put some young girls up on a roof and it's tar. It's not like, it's not shingles. It was horrible, it was hot, but he always wanted us to learn a lesson. You know, there was always a lesson to everything he did. And at the time, maybe it was a gripe or, you know, I might have not appreciated every single thing at the time. Today I do. I mean, I've learned many different trades and skills, and it's helped me also in my job. I will say I'm not trying to roof, I'm not trying to frame, that's what my public works guys help me with. That's what they're for, man. I've grown out of that. I feel like I graduated out of that. But if I had to, would I? Yes. And the reason I would is because Mr. Craighead gave me that skill. And I'm going to miss the times that he would come to the office, and he would always have an agenda item for me when he would come down to my office, and it wasn't often, but when he did, he would come down with a topic, and 2 hours later, we never actually addressed what he actually came down for. It was just 2 hours of just chit-chat and letting us know what he's doing for the community, and he was so in love with our community, and we don't have that many left here that actually genuinely love this community and will fight for it and will speak for it and don't have any fear doing that. And Sid was that guy. He didn't need to, I call it pussyfooting around and I know it's, but you don't do that. You don't tiptoe around subjects. You just go in and you grab onto the subject and that's the meat of what he needed to do. He got it done. There wasn't a fence, like, okay, I'm just on the fence about this. He was 100% knew what he needed to say, and he said it, and he spoke out for our community. He up and down California, Sacramento. I mean, he was driving all the time, it seemed, to go to another meeting. And why? Because he was representing our city the way we need more of. So I just want to tell the family, I see Son over there, and Laura, thank you, and I don't know everybody else, but I know there's many more. You guys were really blessed, and I know sometimes getting raised, and you feel like some things kind of fell by the wayside as family, because a man like Sid really invested in his students and his community, and sometimes we feel like maybe we got left behind a little bit. And I talk to my own kids about this because I did the same thing. But they have to understand, when they grow and they get passionate about something, they too will find things that you're going to look back and wish you would have done something a little bit different. But Sid, I don't think should have any regrets with the life that he led as far as with the community and with his students. And I'm hoping his family feels the same way.
I'm sorry, I don't like to have my back against. Anyway. You all know, those that know me know I'm very emotional. Sid and Mary were not just my neighbors, they were my friends. And Sid happened to be my boss for several years. And that's where the emphasis is on my comments. Sid wasn't afraid to do much. He may be a bit apprehensive, but not afraid. He drugged me up and down the state of California. We were looking for refuse. We had expanded the landfill, and we needed refuse to come in so we could help pay for our landfill. And this was prior to entering into an agreement with Waste Connections, who actually runs our landfill. And one story that I remember, one moment I will never forget, is we were at the city of LA, meeting with a couple of their council members, and we went into a special committee. So we had to get up and testify and kind of present our what the benefits would be of coming to Avenal, and then we had to testify on some other things that were going on had to do with refuse. So Sid got up, and I could tell he was nervous, and Sid just didn't get really nervous that I could see outwardly. So he got up and he said his piece, and he says, okay, Mel, it's your time. So I got up, and I'm standing there, I locked my legs. It's like I'm a little bitty girl from Avenal, and I'm before the City of Valle City Council. I almost passed out. So after I don't even know what I said, but it was broadcast all over the hallways at City Hall. I sat back down, and Sid looked at me, and he knew that I was so afraid. And I looked in his eyes. He was afraid too. It was just one of those moments, and it was a really quiet ride back to Avenal. But I have to say that was just Sid, and he was speaking. If I may back up, he was speaking to some of the newspapers. The media was there, taking pictures, and they were interviewing him and whatever. And I'm a little city manager, and sitting on the sideway just kind of listening and go, oh my gosh, he's telling them a bunch of stuff, and like they're going to bring all this trash and whatever. And I kept going, Sid, come on. He was just like having a time of his life that way. But the trips that we took when he was on the city council, Sacramento, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, whatever, he represented Avenal. People knew Sid, and there were so many people in the different areas that we were that knew Sid for some reason or another. So he didn't know a stranger. There were no strangers where he was. He talked to anyone. What Sid had, and he had a huge heart. He had a heart to serve, and it's very apparent in all that he's done all these years. He's the one that told me about the house that was up for sale across from he and Mary. There were two houses, the one right next to Sid and Mary and the one across the street from Sid and Mary. And I bought the one that's closest to Glenda. Sid and Mary, they took care of him, and they made sure everything was okay. And it's kind of neighbors, how I grew up here in town. Neighbors knew each other. They knew if I was sick and my car had moved or whatever. And as Sid and Mary got older, that's what Glenda and I looked for too. That, are they okay? Sid's truck hasn't moved in a week, so we call him and see what's going on. And I know when he lost Mary, it was so tough. But I do have one other little story, and there was something that happened at a council meeting the night before, and apparently Sid went home and told Mary about it. And Mary told him, you're going across the street and you are going to apologize to Mel right now. So, here he comes. Mel, I'm sorry. It's okay. Anyway, that was Sid. And the last time I saw Sid, he looked tired. But he was still going to attend the council meeting. And for those of you who don't know, is that he was a big contributor toward Arcana. And he met with me, he wanted to meet with me, and I didn't know what it was all about because I hadn't seen Sid out and about other than going to the meetings of the grand jury. He said, no, I really, really would like and I'm sorry, I'm waiting for the police chief to be here because I wanted him to be here for this too, but he said, I want to go to a canine. He said, this is something I know that Mary would want me to do. And he was very, very emotional. And I know the chief, in his own way, he was emotional too, but he was a very large contributor. And I know something the chief wanted to do as well as the officer tried, is that Sid would get to meet the dog Gunner, who he helped bring to Avenal, helped bring to life here for us. So for that, we will always be grateful. Sid never did get to see the canine, but they're here today. And I know Gunner's not in here on this drive, but he is out in the car. But we do want to thank him very much for what he's done. And as a neighbor, you can ask for better neighbors than we have. And it's even hard to look at his house today. He won't be coming home, but he's still in our hearts. He truly is in our hearts. And the pictures up here, a few I've seen, but some I haven't. This is the one I hadn't seen, but he talked about being a member so many times. So anyway, that's all I have. Sid and Mary, I love them. I'm going to miss Sid very, very much.
I can't help myself. I'm Ted Welcome, pastor of the First Baptist Church in town. I didn't know Mr. Craighead well, but like everybody said, nobody was a stranger to him. That is obvious. And he was so kind to me, to my family, all the years, the 15 years we've been here. And the first thing I think of right now when I think of Mr. Craighead is this, is that after his wife passed, I've never seen a person more devastated by the loss of a loved one. And I say that in a positive way because even as the years passed, when we get together or just visit for a minute and something would come up about Mary, he couldn't help but start to weep. And I thought, you know what? I want to love my wife that much. I want to care about my wife that much. And I want to take advantage of every minute that I have with her now. Because who knows? We just don't know, right? So I appreciate and would like to thank Mr. Craighead for that, for just instilling that in me that, hey, life is precious. And we don't know what's going to happen one day to the next. And to appreciate and love our loved ones while we have them. So thank you, Mr. Craighead, for that. Thank you.
Obviously I've already talked, so I like to talk. I do want to thank some people that helps with the food. I didn't want to not give some appreciation. We had the Pastor Corona's church, which brought salads. We had the Baptist church and the Assembly of God who brought the baked goods. The city staff did the chicken. My sister did rice and beans. So I just want to make sure that the family understands everything that you see in here was because the community that he gave to wanted to give back to him. And that is the way we could show our appreciation, is by helping in that small way. You know, it's not a lot, but it's something that we wanted to give back as well because he was so loved and so respected. And so I just want to thank the people in the room that did bring something, and those that are not in the room, just I don't want to not be able to say thank you for that. So thank you.
I would also like, because she never says anything about what she does, is that Sheila played a very, very large part in this. One being making sure the room was neat and tidy, and actually coordinating so much and working with the family. Thank you, Sheila. And also our Public Works Department council, who also supports us, the Avenal Rotary Club that was involved. But anyway, Sheila, she deserves, and her family too. I know they all help very much. So thank you. And to Anna too, and also to Tony.
Guy with the camera. Does anybody have any other Sid stories? If not, the family would like to thank you for coming. And we'll just wrap this up now. But thank you very much for coming out.
Oh, sorry. No. I just say there's so much food. I put some to-go trays out over here, and also some little containers for desserts over there. I don't want to be strapped with a lot of food. If you don't mind making me plate and stand up with you, please. That's just a favor, you know.
You can't leave without using the paper, please.